Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to True Talk Tuesday, where I give you the real deal on real estate. This week, I posted a question, not really a question. Yeah, there was a question. I'll say we had a discussion about AI and what AI's impact is on the business and also the impact on the environment. And I got to thinking, well, what does it do to the market? What does it do to the real estate market? And so tonight, that's what we're going to talk about. And one of my best friends, you've seen me talk to her in comments before, Tiffany Klein. She is a realtor at S&D with me. She has recently been going to a lot of the city council meetings regarding a data center that is being put up in Fort Meade. So I was like, let's bring her on because she has been doing her research. She has been talking to the people that are in the know. And so I figured what better person to kind of really let's talk about what it's going to do, because it's going to have an impact. So for no further delay, Tiffany.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. I'm good.
You also know that she's my best friend because I literally just 5 minutes before the show, I was like, "Hey, you feel like joining me tonight?" She didn't get mad. She was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I love it. So I have been questioning, and I did some research this afternoon. I know, Tiffany, you've been doing a lot more research than me, but I was wondering if anybody has looked at the statistics of what happens to a real estate market after the fact, after a data center has been put in. And there was a couple of different things that did come up. There was, I think it was Alabama University had done a study. And then also realtor.com, believe it or not. I was like, that was kind
Okay.
of funny to me. But both of them basically pointed to the fact that there is a boom that happens immediately, that you've got an influx of jobs. And you and I, as realtors, know that the creation and destruction of jobs kind of really has the biggest impact on real estate, right?
Right.
So they were saying that the creation of jobs very rapidly account for rapid growth within the city, and that can bring an economic boom. However, if a city does not diversify its job growth and it relies on one single thing, when that goes bust, which things do, I mean, we don't have lamplighters anymore, right? So when things go bust, then all of a sudden now the city is worse off than when it started, because now it is depleted of resources. So what did you find out about the resource intake of a data center? And
Uh,
be clear, we're talking about AI data centers and not what they call traditional data centers. Traditional data centers are would what be the companies are paying these centers to kind of house all of their sensitive data, and those do not take up nearly amount of resources as an AI data center. So we're talking about an AI data center.
yeah, so like for Fort Meade particularly, they originally proposed, and apparently Polk County Commission has agreed that if this is built, they are allotted up to 140,000 gallons of water a day. Now, the company Stonebridge has said that, oh, I know.
Okay.
The company Stonebridge
Get your
later
face.
come back to the city and they're like, "Oh no, we can do it for 50,000," and compared it to the amount of water used at a Wawa gas station. I don't I,
How are they doing? Okay, if that's a possibility, cool beans, but how are you doing it?
so they are saying that they would use less water because they're supposedly saying that they're going to do like a closed loop system. So it's not going to use as much water as traditional systems. However, they've also come back and said that they may do like a hybrid. Now, what that looks like, I'm not for sure.
Right.
But even if they're allotted up to 140,000 gallons a day, like,
Where are they going to get it from? Because we're already on restrictions.
Exactly, that's our thoughts. They are discussing the potential of using some of Fort Meade's gray water if they are able to as a secondary measure.
Okay. Okay. Gray water, but correct me if I'm wrong, don't a lot of the farmers out in Fort Meade use the gray water?
I
For some of the
believe,
things, not all of them,
yeah.
but
So, to my understanding, after last night's meeting, they were saying that the city currently has like an agreement with a certain property for that to go, but that doesn't mean that that agreement will be renewed. So,
I just realized there's probably some people that don't understand what the term gray water means watching this. So gray water is not poop water, all right?
thank
That
you.
is not poop water. Gray water is when you wash your hands or you've washed your clothes or you've, used the sink for whatever reason and it's just like soapy water, soapy dirty water. It's not poopy water. And so that's why they call it gray water, is because it's not clean per se, but it is safe to put on like plants. Soapy water is actually a good pesticide. So that's why I said I wondered if how many farmers were using it. But I
Yeah.
don't get where they're going to come up. And this is the impact that I think it's going to have on the real estate market, because now you've got the demand of water. And there was another group just talking about this, for there's a big water supply production facility coming in northeast Polk County now. And so there was another discussion about it. But you've got all this growth and this demand on water, right?
Mhm.
Water is a finite resource. So now the supply is not going to meet the demand. And anybody that has studied just a little bit of economics knows that means that the supply is now going to get more expensive.
Yeah.
So water is going to get more expensive, and then it's going to start pricing out the residents, the long-term residents
Mhm.
of Fort Meade.
Right.
Because Fort Meade's market isn't that great right now anyways. They are on the lower side of the market as far as like median priced homes, and there's not that many homes for sale out there, correct?
There's between 30 and 40 right now.
And their days on the market is like 60 plus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine we all of a sudden have this big boom, a lot of people coming in, a lot of people coming in. Now the water is more expensive, so the longtime residents have to get out. And the people that are there, they're only there for a job. So if they move, so
Yeah.
bad, too bad, sure hate it for you. Now Fort Meade becomes a ghost town because nobody could afford to live there when it was in a boom.
Right. And at the meeting last night, I had asked the questions about what our current water, like our capacity is.
Right.
Where are we in our allotted, agreed upon amount? I did not get an answer yet. I also asked where we would be if this data center goes through. Was not given an answer as of yet. I also asked if this is approved, said data center comes in, we have met capacity, then we're at risk of a moratorium. And that just means that if we are at capacity because this bill has come in, no other development could come in. So, like if we wanted a grocery store, which everybody in town, we have one, but we would like something a little nicer.
Hmm.
Um, that couldn't happen. So you're strategically bringing in something big, and you're like, oh yeah, it's going to be great, but you're losing it for the rest of anything else.
And that's what you were. To be clear, neither one of us are against growing a city. There is just a right way and a wrong way of doing it.
Yeah.
And the right way is diversifying job growth. And
Mhm.
that's what Tiffany is talking about, is like when you just put in that one big facility, now it's just that facility. You think about, mining towns out west. There's a reason why they're ghost towns. There's reasons why nobody lives there, is because that industry went bust, right? So if you put this big thing in there and they go bust, now that job's gone. So yeah, what is the answer to that? Like
So they did take my information, so they are supposed to get back with me on
okay,
it. I'll probably be sending an email tomorrow to be like, hey, where are we at?
what's
Because
the
I
answer?
like to follow up. Um,
That's the
because
problem
I
with
want,
being a realtor, is like, we will follow up. We will follow up. We will follow up until you tell us to shut up, right?
yeah, yep. And then I'll follow up one more time. No.
Exactly. Are you sure? So yeah,
Yeah, it's
do
I like you said, I'm all for growth as long as it's sustainable to the residents and the community that
right,
is around it.
right. There was something that you were talking about with there was I remember hearing a number 27,000, and now my brain was just like not gonna give me the rest of that conversation. There was a number of 27,000. What was that number, Tiffany?
I don't remember what 27,000. So let's see. Um, there, it's been back and forth. So just to, so everybody's aware if they're not aware, with the one that's proposed for the city of Fort Meade, they are looking at 4.4 million square foot of property, and that's about 1,300 acres. And this is less than 2 miles from anywhere in the city of Fort Meade, pretty much. So literally out my back door. So they originally were saying like 500 potential jobs when they were initially starting it, down to like 40 once it's completed.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think. I'll have to think on the 2,700.
Let's see. The So the one that I've got, by the way, I've got helpful links in the description of this live. And there are the sources that I got my information from. There's one that I wanted to read specifically. It was the economic impact of having an actual like data center there. Um, the construction process, what they said was the construction process, centers can require thousands of workers, right? And so you've got an influx of workers into your community that are going to need homes, and so you're going to see rentals become more and more sought after, which then in turn cause a rental spike because there is not enough supply for the demand, right?
There's
Some
not
locals,
enough, sorry,
go ahead.
there's not enough supply for the demand in rentals in Fort Meade as it stands
Right.
before this starts.
So where are those workers going to come from? And here's the other thing, is like, how many workers are coming from the local community?
Yeah,
Are they going to be brought in, or are they actually going to hire people locally? Because if they hire people locally, then okay, now you're giving the local economy a little bit of a boost. But again, when that industry is no longer there, these people are now out of touch with the jobs that they had before,
right.
and they're going to have to move out of the city in order to continue working in some type of tech.
Yep.
So it's a mess, Tiffany.
It really is. Like I said, like I did a video earlier today, and anybody can go back to my Facebook page and kind of see it. It came from my heart. Like I really thought about it because, like I said, I'm all about growth, but it has to be the right type.
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to sustain anything that's around here. And our city is doing good to sustain what it is. Like on the electric side as well, like we just had the cold snap and they had all of the, restrictions and, the asks and stuff. They asked the city residents to not have their heat above 65 degrees in their home.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Lakeland was the same way. Lakeland was
yeah.
the same way, and it's like, y'all
Lakeland's like
know it?
4 times as big as that, probably even more than that.
Like we had the same thing, and I'm going, but yet we're building more, more. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So,
And that's the thing. Lakeland has its own electric.
yeah,
Fort Meade does not.
yep.
So we
Are
are,
you guys Duke?
yes.
Yes. I
No,
was
no,
like
no.
Duke or
Sorry.
Tico?
We are Tico. We are Tico.
Like Duke or
Yeah.
Tico? Because I know like parts of Winter Haven are Duke.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So Fort Meade's
Lakeland's weird.
Tico.
We got our own electric company.
I know. Yeah.
Seems all right.
Sounds like a perfect place for a data center.
Guess what? We
Um,
do have a data center here.
well, not a
It's
4.4
not
square
an
foot.
AI.
Yeah. Yeah. Not, no, 4.4 million square foot.
No, no. Now, what I was reading, what I was talking about just before we came on,
Mm-hmm.
of course, my Facebook has to like update. Uh, there was a water supply center, 29 acre in northeast Polk County.
Mm-hmm.
They're creating a water supply plant to
Mm-hmm.
supply water to Davenport, if I read that correctly. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wait, where's that water going to come from? Are you drilling? Because now you got all these wells in northeast
Right. So the
Polk.
other thing in all of this and water and drilling, okay, like you said, there's been a lot of research out there from other residents here in town as well that there is a data center in Iowa who is currently facing some big fines because they drilled wells secretly to have even more water. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that question was brought up last night as well. Like,
Like,
what are we going to do? Like,
how are you
they
going to
can,
prevent them?
yeah,
How are you going to know?
that's the thing.
If they build a building over it, how are you going to know?
Yeah. Well, and Stonebridge is, they're wanting to be, first of all, this is the first one for Stonebridge. Okay. They're a bunch of builders. They've all built stuff. The question was, how can we prevent it from them? And if they're just building it and they're having another company come in for that, whatever storage of the AI, we don't know who it is.
Yeah,
Supposedly anything that's in agreements and in writing between the city, the county, and Stonebridge should pair over. So it should just cover whoever it is that comes in.
right,
Should blanket it. They should follow the same agreement. That doesn't mean they will.
right, right. In my research, I found that when we talked about the economic impact of AI data centers, especially with real estate market, commercially, it's a booming thing right now. And we're not talking about just AI data centers. We're talking about regular data centers. There are companies that are popping up just to build these spaces for these servers and to accommodate and take care of these servers. And I I have a child that is very, very connected to all of that, and he has filled me with paranoia.
I could believe
So
it.
I'm
I could
just
believe
like,
it.
so you got these companies building this stuff, and somebody could come in, take all my data,
That part right there.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, so it's like scary, but it's a booming industry for commercial real estate because it's an easy, almost a too easy, just like find a warehouse and sell it kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, on the residential side, which you and I more focus on the residential side of things, um, because we put people over profit.
Yes. This right here.
Both her and I have said that
You matter.
at least twice this week. So we look at things a little differently than a commercial side. And by the way, that it's neither one is wrong or right, right? Like you do you, boo. But commercial's having their time right now, whereas residential, these data centers are actually causing a market shift in residential markets because
Yeah.
of a lot of different reasons. Like I said, the whole rent prices going up when they get put in. So now you've got residents that have been outpriced of homes. And
Hmm.
so then you've gotten homes that are getting more market value because rent prices are going up as well. And then you get assessed for taxes based on that kind of thing. Your property taxes are now going up. The environmental impact of an AI data center, insurances are having a heyday with that because it can cause damage to your home based on the resources that are being taken.
Yep.
So there's these increases and they might seem minute, but what's happening is long-term residents are being outpriced of their homes.
Right. Well, and if somebody's trying to come in and buy, they're like, well, I want to know what's, 2 miles down the road,
Right.
1.7, whatever. But like, I already live here and don't want to live next to that.
Right.
You also like they want to know what future businesses are coming in. I do say our mayor, I will give credit to where credit is due. And all of this in December, it was put on the commission meeting notes for a vote the day of the commission meeting. I don't know what happened there, but it happened.
Okay.
And our mayor was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. We've not, they hadn't even seen an agreement. They hadn't seen anything on it. This is something that's been like clearly slipped through.
Right.
Um, the mayor himself, Jarrett Landon, has done a lot for downtown. Like he's bought buildings and he's had them fixed up and created stuff to, bring things in and bring in like major artist for like our Soul Fest. Like
Yeah.
CC Winans coming, so
Right.
like you're bringing in the good stuff, and that's the type of growth I can get behind.
Right.
However, I cannot get behind a data center because ultimately the risk is not outweighing the rewards.
Right. Right. Gail just popped in, by the way, to say
Hi,
hi.
Gail.
I don't know. Can you see comments, Tiffany,
No, not on
on your
there.
side of the studio?
Let me
Okay.
let me pull you up on Facebook.
Like on my side. If you guys are here, by the way, because I can see it when I'm on Facebook, but I have a hard time seeing it when I'm on StreamYard. But if you're here, let me know, say hello. We again are talking about, if you're just joining, we are talking about the AI data centers impact on the real estate market. And specifically, we're talking about what we think might, this is might, a big might, because look, we don't have crystal balls, all right? But we're going based on things that we've read, things that we've looked up. We're talking about what might happen to Fort Meade if Fort Meade moves forward with a data center. And it is a scary, scary thing because Fort Meade is a very small town and has, I would say, limited growth right now, right?
Yes.
And if you put in, like Tiffany was saying earlier, and if you, again, if you're just joining, go back and watch it. But Tiffany was talking about earlier that um, if you put in one large thing, now you can't build anything else, right? And when we have job growth only in one field, when that field goes bust, now you've created a ghost town. So it's not appropriate for Fort Meade, I think.
I don't think so. And I've not, for the most part, I heard a mixed review last night. Um, but for the most part, everybody is against this. Like we've had interviews with Bay News 9,
Hmm.
Tampa Bay News Channel 10 was there last night.
Hmm.
Um, Fort Meade has a YouTube channel too, the city of Fort Meade, so you can always go back and see like the meetings and the commission meetings about it. Um, but we also had it was last month they had a big event against it. Um, and they had over 250 residents. Now, that still sounds relatively small when you think we have over 5,000 residents, but a lot of our residents here are older.
Yeah.
Some of them aren't getting out, or we have younger families, and like schedules kind of get in the way. But like there's a lot of opposition for this.
Yeah.
So, I know that we put faith in the commissioners that we vote for, and we hope that they are taking that into consideration.
Right.
But we don't know. We found out last night that an environmental study has not even been done in the area. Um,
And
our
just if you are not watching from Central Florida area, that's important because we have a lot of sensitive, sensitive environmental areas, and we have a numerous amount of organic organic living things that need to be protected. I mean, we have something so small as a small little tiny flower that is considered protected here in Florida, So, Gail said, I wish towns would plan for 30 years down the road, not for what will give them the most money right now.
right.
Absolutely agree with you, Gail. Absolutely agree with you. Um,
Mm,
I think Lakeland is even seeing a problem with that. So I grew up between two towns here in Florida. All right. I grew up in South Florida near the Everglades, and that's why I tell people I'm a swamp baby through and through because I basically grew up right there.
that's why your hair's
Right?
green, right?
Exactly, exactly. And then I also grew up here in Lakeland. So it was, my parents lived in two different cities and I was back and forth. And I can tell you as a long-term Lakeland resident, this Lakeland got big quick. It was not ready for all of this, and traffic, it normally took about 20 minutes to get from one end of town to another. Now it will take you 45 minutes to an hour because of traffic.
Yeah. Yeah. And can you imagine that in a
Fort
small
Meade?
community like Fort Meade?
No,
No.
no, that's an absolute no. And then on top of it, to just be one industry, just one industry, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I think I was reading, I can't remember if it was the university article or if it was the realtor.com article, but one of the articles that I was reading was that you're going to see an influx of workers come in to make this building, right? So you're going to have a quick increase in population, and then those workers are going to go on to a different job. And you might have anywhere from 50 to 100 people working the data center at that point. So the job increase is a very, very short, limited time. And now you have increased the usage and resources just through this building alone. So now you can't build anything else, right?
Right.
Eh,
I know. Well, and the thing, like the Polk County commissioners, like they jumped at the chance to go ahead and make the change that was needed so that this was a potential.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and just last night it was said, okay, so over in Plant City, the Amazon like distribution center, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine four of those?
Right.
That's four of them. That's the equivalent to the four or
Yeah.
the eight buildings, supposedly eight buildings, but 4.4 million square foot of
It's it
property. I know it continuously blows your mind.
it blows my mind because I come back to what they said their water usage was going to be. And they're like, it's a closed system. Well, if it was a closed pressurized system, why are you having to get water every day then?
Yeah, yeah. They also haven't mentioned how many gallons it will take to like to fill it
Right.
originally, right off the bat.
Right. Right. Gail said big, quick, and it wasn't prepared, and there was more wanting to come in and build more warehouses when every warehouse I've seen has leasing options available. Yes, I know. We've
You're
looked at the
not
MLS
wrong.
for these guys.
You're not wrong.
She's like, we need the water more than AI does. People, animals, and land itself needs the water more. I agree. I I've had this conversation with Gail as well. Um, and it was, I understand AI is not going to go anywhere, and it is here. I have absolute, and everybody that knows me knows I have absolute problems with it right now, to the point where I do not use it. I did at one point, and the more I learned about it, I was like, "Oh, this feels icky. I don't want to do it."
Yeah.
But I know that I have to. I know that I'm going to be forced to, in order so my business doesn't get left behind, right? So I my problems with it, one, as an artist, how I got trained on art, that's my problem with it, right? Okay, so we got that problem. But then the overarching impact on what it's doing to the environment. My tree hugging hippie self cannot handle it, right? Like, I cannot handle it. Tiffany, you've seen me crash out before, all right? That was
Yeah.
not over the environment. Imagine the environment, okay? The crash out I'll have over this.
Well, so with this data center, it runs along and might encroach on the wildlife corridor. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Which further proves why an environmental study should be done. And the kicker in all of this is tonight was a commission meeting. Obviously, the vote was not tonight. It could potentially go to vote as early as next month. Now, how are you going to have all the answers and an environmental study done in 30 days?
You're not. You're not.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So my suggestion to everybody that lives in Fort Meade is to start calling your county commissioner, your city commissioners, and going, I don't want this.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is a Facebook group called Concerning the Fort Meade
Yeah,
Data Center.
I saw
Yeah.
them respond to you on Facebook.
Yes. So definitely check it out.
Okay.
Definitely follow up with it. There's a lot of information on there. Met the gentleman that um, has kind of put that together, and he said last night that he's like, I was kind of in the shadows. I didn't really want to come out. Like, I was just comfortable being, and he said that he has had a career in construction and technology and stuff, and he has done a fabulous job of updating that page with article resources and
Awesome.
videos and all kinds of things. So definitely check that out.
I will have to update the description to this then and link to that Facebook page, so that way they can, if you want to see what he's saying and the different
Yeah.
resources, you can find that. So once this is over, I will do that. I will update the Facebook, so that
Yeah,
way you can go
definitely.
there. But I don't I hope for Fort Meade's sake that they don't go forward with the data center. And again, it's not because I hate technology or I hate
The
growth. Like
same.
Tiffany said, it's not about that. It's about sustainable growth, because you have people that live there, and people are important. I
Yes.
know people like to make money. I know, but people people are important. Their
Yeah.
stories, their lives, their history in a place. It's important.
Right. Yeah. And especially in Fort Meade because Fort Meade, it is Polk County, y'all. It is. I promise. We are actually the oldest city, the first city in Polk County. Thank
Yep.
you. So,
Yeah, because
we
at
c-
one point Fort Meade was thought like they were gonna put Fort Meade as the county seat, right? Like, am I thinking
uh,
right? There
could you
was
imagine?
Can you imagine? Bartow
Okay.
took it.
Well, Bartow's okay too.
Bartow's a
Uh,
cute town.
I
Bartow
love
is
it.
another
Yeah.
one that I would say if they tried to put a data center in, that would be devastating to
Yeah,
Bartow.
it's kind of in between the two.
Yeah.
It's definitely closer to Fort Meade, but
Right.
for developments like that, that's what they want. They want the more rural areas because one,
Yes.
it's old, like it's old mine, like the
Yeah.
phosphate mine. It's old farm country in that area, so they're getting it cheap.
Cheap. Cheap.
And then they're like, and they want to where they can buy the property cheap so that all the money's in the center, but we're talking about billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And they're talking about on the paper side of it, okay? Like the money side. All right. They're going to get a 10-year, 90% tax break with the county. They are going to, and that starts once it's completed, I believe. I believe. I'll have to go back and listen to what they said again. I was so irritated last night. It was hard to keep up sometimes. But they're saying initially they'll come in. The school board's supposed to get like 15 million. Fort Meade's supposed to get like 20 million. And then the county's supposed to get like 12 million. Okay. To put that 20 million for Fort Meade, right? For this fiscal year, so 2025, 2026 fiscal year, the budget for Fort Meade is $40 million. I could see having the benefit of having that additional funds. But where's that money going to go? What is it going to be used to benefit the community?
Yeah. And to offset the damage that it's going to have to mitigate now.
Right. Yeah. It's
Like,
so like business wise, I could see it. Okay. But strategic, like policy and regular growth and community, pro community, it's not. It's
it's
not
not pro
beneficial to
community. Yeah.
to the residents.
It is definitely not pro community. Um, it is not going to be beneficial in the long run. If that's the only big business they have, it's not going to be beneficial. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why all these small towns are starting to get in other larger named stores, like, Fort Meade got a Wawa and that kind of thing. And
Yes.
I know, right? Like, you guys are starting to get these things. Why do that? Well, because farming is becoming not elusive. I'm not going to say that because still there's a lot of farming that happens around here in Florida.
Especially outside of Fort Meade.
Exactly. But it is they realize that the I don't want to say this because I know people are going to be like, she's talking about climate change. I'm not talking about climate change. I'm just saying that there's natural cycles that happen. All right. And yes, I do believe in climate change, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. But, but what we're talking about is like there are natural cycles that happen. And so you're going to have farmers that are going to have to move after a certain period of time because they can't farm on their lands anymore. And these smaller towns are trying to mitigate any damage that might happen, right? So they're getting these Wawas, they're getting Burger Kings when they didn't have Burger Kings.
Culver's, we got
Right, you
Culver's.
got a Culver's now, right? So they're getting these different businesses to diversify the job growth. So that way the community can have sustainable growth instead of just putting in one big thing and now you can't build anything else. Now you
Right.
grow. And you've got a bunch of residents that want to stay there and love that, but now they're being outpriced and outsourced on everything.
Right. Right. And it's sad to see. Fort Meade, I love living here. It was 10 a.m. yesterday morning, okay, on a Monday. I was sitting out on my front porch
Yeah.
having an interview,
I
and
know.
it was so quiet, except you could hear a block over they're doing a roof, so you could hear you could hear that. But it's so nice to be able to go out there and have that quiet. Now, don't get me wrong, I like going to Bartow, I like going to Lakeland, I love all that.
Yeah.
Winter Haven, but it's nice to come home and it be so quiet and so
Yes.
dark out there. Like we don't have a lot of light
Right.
pollutant, however you want to say it.
Yeah, light
Like we don't.
pollution.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
And you
so
don't
it's
have a whole lot
nice.
of noise pollution. You
No.
it it is truly like living out in the country while still having a city to be able to go into that, not even a city, a town, a town to go into. I think of Fort Meade as, if you've ever seen like those Hallmark, in those, was it the
Yes.
TLC movies where they're like,
Yes.
yeah, like that's what they remind me
The
of, is like
feel
these
goods,
really,
right?
yes. It's just
Yeah.
like this really small town vibe that, you know, with girl left and got her attorney's, law degree, and now she comes back to the small town to fight the data center, right?
Yeah, right. Well,
Like,
and I think it's so funny that us, being realtors and me being in this community, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not for that. It is
right,
funny because I could be like, heck yeah, I'm about to make all kinds of money. I don't
right.
want that. Like you said, people over the money. Like I just it blows my mind. I never thought that I would be here to really discuss it and put all of that, I'm really passionate about it. And I have local government experience.
Yeah,
So not everybody does. So, working for another city, like I've learned a lot. So to see how things run in a different city versus how they have been ran here in the past too, it's kind of mind-boggling some days.
yeah.
So that's why, like it's everybody's urging our commissioners to vote no on this because in the long run it's not going to be what's best for us.
So what would be, and I guess this isn't even a question that you and I could even answer, because we it would be a community thing. Like, what happens when they vote yes,
That's
right?
the thing.
I mean, you have the option of voting them out, but now you've got this data center here.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
happens next? Nobody knows, and that's, again, that's not something you and I can answer because we don't have a crystal ball. Don't
No.
know what's going to happen next. All of this is speculation anyways, you know?
Mhm.
But yeah, I would, oh, I hope they vote no.
I know.
For Fort Meade's sake, I really hope they vote no.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
I
was too
mean,
small.
yeah. Like what was it? Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday there was a post out like frostproof, what, 10 minutes down the road south of us. They were
Mhm.
having power outages.
Yeah.
I don't know what the cause was. I know they were working on it. I hadn't heard after the fact, but Hillsborough County, they're doing drinking stations. Like,
Yes. Because
so,
Hillsborough County, I have to fact check this, all right? So we're not gonna say that this is absolute, all right?
do due diligence.
Do your due diligence, because I have not fact checked this, okay? But I was, like I said, right before I came on, I was reading these comments, right, about the water supply being built here in Lakeland, and not Lakeland, in Northeast Polk County. And it was one of the comments saying that we are running out of water. And I saw that for myself through Swift Mud. Like, there's critical shortages in Miami-Dade and in Central Florida.
Right.
Um, but they're saying that in Hillsborough and Pasco County has already run out of drinking water.
Yeah.
And so now that's why you're seeing those drinking stations,
Yeah.
because they don't have drinking water. That is terrifying.
Yeah.
And we are next. We are at that point where we are about to be, and part of it could be, and I hope it is, right? I hope it's because of this recent cold snaps that we do have a little bit more of a dip, because we do have to naturally deal with, during cold snaps, the strawberry farmers that are prolific in Central Florida, right? They are known to run their sprinklers all night long. And a couple of years ago, oh, it's been a while. They actually ran a couple of wells dry in Plant City because they used so much water on their
Mhm.
strawberry fields. because you can't let the strawberries dip below freezing, so they will freeze them with water, and that's what encapsulates them into a temperature that's not going to dip them below freeze. I don't understand how that works, by the way, because you've got them in popsicle form, and I thought popsicles were below freezing, but I don't know. I'm stupid.
We
When it comes to strawberries, I
we
am.
have a source that we should just
Right,
ask that to.
right. Hey Jordan, if you're watching this, I need an answer.
Yes.
But yeah, we know that our farmers already have caused some of these things to happen in the past, and maybe it is one of the reasons why right now water is like really being pressured on. So why are we going to put in something that's taking more water?
It's not something that takes a little bit. You know what I
No,
mean?
it takes a
Like
lot. Takes
this
a lot.
place, like is the size of our northeast corner of town.
Tiffany, I
Girl,
really hope they say no.
I
I mean,
really hope they say no too. Also, so like if you go check out that site,
right.
um, and because there's a map, like it shows there's going to be two entrances. The first entrance is going to be off of 17.
Okay.
The other entrance is probably gonna it from the looks of it, maybe a half mile from my house. So all of that construction work, are they coming in off of 17, which was just redone, or are they coming through historic Fort Meade Broadway Street
Oh no.
to get to where they're going?
Oh no. Those businesses are going to suffer. If they come through Broadway, those businesses are going to suffer because nobody's
Mhm.
going to want to go visit when you've got just a bunch of trucks rolling through all the time.
I know, and there's some really cute um, shops downtown, and you should definitely check out Fort Meade if you've never been here before. Definitely check out currently.
I'm going to tell
Hopefully,
you,
it
the
doesn't
Soul
have too
Fest
much
was
of a
amazing.
change. What?
Soul Fest was amazing. Just saying. All right. I
Mm-hmm.
love, I can't remember who was next to us, but with the boiled peanuts with the oxtails in it,
Oh my gosh,
I
we
need
had
I need
such.
to find her again. I need those in my life, right?
I know, right? Um, I need to find out, and I'll let you know too. When like upcoming events are coming
Yeah,
up, and
yeah.
see. Um, hopefully not in March because I have a lot of events to be at, but um, three in a month is going to be exhausting. But I do it because I love it.
Right, right.
Um, but but yeah, Fort Meade, definitely check it out. There's gonna be stuff coming up. There's actually, you know what? Next or this Friday, Friday the 13th,
Mhm.
bring your gal friends, bring your boyfriend, your significant others, your best friend, whatever. Fort Meade Middle School, High School Choir is doing a movie on the lawn
Oh, that's
to
cool.
raise money for their auditorium and
That's
needed
cool.
supplies to spruce it
Very
up for the
cool.
kids for like all the all theater, choir, drama, piano, like all of those. So it's hopefully to benefit
That's cool.
more in the
I would
arts.
I would go, but we are gonna be in Bartow
I
for that.
know, right? Right? Yes.
So, all right, my lovelies, we have discussed it. Basically, AI is once again a dual-edged sword when it comes to the market. It's a dual-edged sword with itself. It will cause an economic boom when you first bring it in, data centers, and then it will cause all kinds of havoc on resources and market value, and thus pricing out original residents who cannot afford the price increases. Ultimately, when that industry dies or changes and that data center is no longer there, because think about it, like we no longer use VHS tapes, right?
I know they were the
So,
best.
right. But think about it, like I look at a data center like VHS, right? VHS. So eventually we're going to get to where and this is just me being hopeful, right? Okay. But we'll get eventually to where we won't need such a large data center to hold our data, right? There's going to be something new that comes along that can house this data. We've seen this time and 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 time again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that data center is eventually not going to need to be that size. What happens then? And that's what we were discussing is now you've gotten a very overpriced town that people cannot live in.
Right.
So for Fort Meade's sake, I hope they don't. So my lovelies, if you are living in Fort Meade, definitely contact your city commissioners. Let them know that you don't want it if that's what you've decided. All right. We've given you some education. All right. You get to decide what you want to do with that education. I'm not telling you what to do.
Vote
Right.
no. I'm telling you. No, I'm just kidding. Please vote
Have you
no. If you
before I go, Tiffany, have you seen those like Instagram and TikTok videos where it's like the nice friend was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and then the music changes like, "Talk to me, I talk back." Tiffany is the "talk to me, I talk back." All right,
I mean,
I'm the
my
one
screen name says I'm unhinged.
that's like, "It's okay," and then Tiffany's like pulling me back, "Talk to me."
Yeah. Especially you can be that way too.
I can when it comes to anything other than myself.
We're
Right?
working on that. We're
We're
working
working
on
on
that.
that. We're working on
But
that.
yeah,
Oh,
I wear that badge proudly
you do.
when I'm passionate about something, when something that is going to affect my family, your family, you know, it's
There's
not just
nothing wrong with
us.
that tenacity. There is nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that,
I mean, I got an award. I might as well use it on a day-to-day basis, right?
She got an amazing award at our S&D real estate awards, and I could not have been more proud of my friend here. She fights for everything that she believes in, and she fights for everything that she gets, and she fights for you, and that's why she's one of my friends, because I surround myself with people who love people, right? So I appreciate you, Tiffany, being on
Thank you.
tonight.
Thank you.
I appreciate your insight. I appreciate your fight. I appreciate your drive. So follow
My
both of us if you are
my
not already
craziness.
following us. Follow both of us because we often get into shenanigans and you will see weird videos. By the way, we have been requested to do the last dab.
Oh man. Again? Okay. Like, are we gonna get all the sauces? We've done what? 1 through 3? No.
We did 1 through 3. Yes, we did 1 through 3.
I thought
We we could do the last 3, which is like the bomb and then something and then the last dab.
I'm gonna need some
Bomb sucks.
milk,
It's
some
gross.
ice cream, some I don't know. Don't forget my Tums. Um,
Look,
and
I
my
brought them
coffin.
last time. I brought
Yeah,
them
they
last.
weren't too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even
All right.
need them last time.
No, you didn't because the hottest thing was a Scotch bonnet, right? So
We
what's
can
that?
do it. We can do it.
We can do it. All right, my lovelies. Until next time, remember, be happy, be safe, and I love you because if people can hate for no reason, I can love for no reason. All right.
Love it.
Thanks again, Tiffany, and everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.